Hey ho people, it's Stylosa and Kirioff, and this is another fantastical weekly gaming news. Obviously brought to you by unitloss.com. And I'm going to stop saying obviously, because I say that quite a lot, whatever the case may be.
Oh no.
So, Mr. Kirioff, I come to you with a question, and it is simply this. What has happened in the last week of gaming news? Or in the gaming sphere as a whole?
Oh,
specifically PC related.
Did you just say Pacifically?
Specifically
Is the ocean, ain't it? Anyway.
Specifically.
Well, we have a fantastic winter gift for the first time, which was reported on the 28th of November, since it's now December, son, getting ever closer to Christmas. And on the 28th, Mr. Rico Arena, he reported that you can have your very own Dragonborn helmet, son.
Oh.
Your own. A Dragonborn helmet to keep and use when you go out fighting dragons, except there is one slight downside.
It comes packaged with a box of I'm a massive twat. Is that what you're saying?
That's one downside. The other downside is that it's made of polar fleece.
Well, like a polar bear?
I don't know, actually.
What, taking off an actual... Hang on a minute. So you're telling me they've murdered... I thought polar bears were an endangered species and you can't murder them for the fleece bow.
It's soft, durable polar fleece. So...
What?
Surely they're not butchering polar bears to make Dragonborn helmets. That wouldn't be on, would it?
No, that's somebody needs to be reported, I think, though. Well, I'm going to take us back from the 28th back to the 25th, and I'm going to say there was an indie game music bundle, which was reported by Vesu on unitloss.com, and yeah, you could kind of get a bundle of indie music. I guess the title gave it away, son. GameMusicBundle.com, so knock yourself out if you're interested in that type of thing. As ever, we report on all gaming news that's reported on unitloss.com. And then go and talk massive loads of shit based on what we've done in the week. And also swear heavily. That seems to be the way of this pathetic gaming news. Oh dear. So now I'm looking at the 26th of November and I've got No Ghost Recon Future Soldier for PC, which is reported by Rico, and I guess that's a blow if you were into Ghost Recon. Personally, I couldn't really care less, so I'm moving on. Unless you want to say anything, bloke, you know.
No.
No. There was the autumn sale at Steam, but that's finished now, so that's absolutely redundant. But still, there was an autumn sale on at Steam, and you could get some games cheap. I guess it wasn't their super best sale thing ever, but it was a sale and it was Steam, and no doubt many dodgy deals were had. And actually, talking about that, I think you can get Brink for £3. I think it's £3.69 or £79. It's definitely under £4 on Steam at the moment, which could be quite a good deal. It's a AAA title, FPS game. I haven't played it, so I can't really pass all that much comment on it. But surely for £3.60 or whatever the hell it was, that's got to be worth it, has it? I don't know. I might actually pick that up and knock a few videos out if I get the time. So where are we going from there, son? Where are we going from there?
Well, from there, there's some new DLC. There is already some DLC for Arkham City.
Oh yes.
The game's only been out for.
Well, we'll talk a bit more about Arkham City a bit later on, but yeah, it's a bit frustrating now. It's so delayed compared to the consoles. But I've completed Batman's single-player campaign arc in Arkham City, so I can go into detail on it. But we slug on, son, through the rest of the news. So there was a Gulf of Oman gameplay trailer for Battlefield 3, or Oman, which is the back to Karkland or Karkland even. Karkland, is it? Yeah, Karkland. Karkand. No, it's Karkand, isn't it? Back to Karkand.
Yeah, I think it's Karkand.
The old Battlefield 2 map, anyway. That if you've bought the limited edition of Battlefield 3, you should get those maps. I've got that, so I should get them for free. You know what? I can't actually remember whether you get that for free anyway. Or I think you do a couple of more. God knows, but that's a trailer and everybody loves it. Whatever. The next thing we got is a Skyrim patch, 1.2. Now this is actually out now, and it fixed loads of hilarious things like it stopped dead guests turning up to your wedding. Because I suppose that's kind of inconvenient. You come to my wedding, oh, you're dead. I mean, how would you even invite a dead person? Or did it get to the wedding and die?
I suppose you could invite them, and then, as I found myself doing, accidentally, I don't know, shout them off a cliff at some point later on. I imagine when it came to the whole, does anyone have any reasons why they shouldn't be married? It would be quite embarrassing if someone stood up and said, well, yes, he shouted me off a cliff and then butchered my family. Because that wouldn't go down well, would it, on the day?
Not really. It'd be a bit of a downer. But then again, I suppose it depends on the type of people getting married. You know, because I've seen these reality shows on the telly where you got all these crazies dressing up as vampires getting married. Surely a couple of deaths at their wedding would be quite good. I don't know. It seems like this gaming news is taking a bit of a laid-back attitude today.
It's relaxed.
It's relaxed.
We need to be in armchairs with like a cigar and a brandy.
Yeah, and a monocle.
Just one monocle. Get it out.
Share it. I can't see.
Share monocle.
.com. Yes. So the next thing we got is on the 29th of November, there was a Gotham City Imposters Customise You Crazy, according to Rico. Now this is like a little crazy spin-off title from Batman, Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. It's like an FPS game, but you either play for Joker or play for Batman, and you kind of dress up as Joker or Batman, hence imposters. It looks totally shit, if the truth be told, and I think it's something which is just designed to go out on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network, but no doubt it will show up on Steam. I can't imagine it'll be very expensive, but again, it looks not very good, so I wouldn't really bother all too much about it. And what we got next, bloke? I'll let you do the next bit because I'm lazy.
Well, at least you're honest. This is a puzzling. The Neverwinter story trailer. It's actually a Dungeons and Dragons online game being made by Hasbro and Cryptic, and in fact, it's got nothing to do with Neverwinter Nights, from what I can tell. And it's fantastically boring. So if you want to sit there and be bored for a minute or two, then go for it. But I watched it, and it's that bad I can't remember anything about it. But it's almost
as bad as the name of the new champion for League of Legends. Now, there's a new champion, in case you don't know, and his name's Volley Bear. Why he's called that, I don't know. Is it some kind of play on Volt Bear? Because he's electric. Now, me and Kirioff were thinking to ourselves, we could come up with some better names than that. And we did come up with some names, but I think what we should do is a live brainstorming session. So,
I'm still.
So you've got basically an electric polar bear. What would you call it?
I think I came up with something silly like Thunderheart or something.
Oh yeah, and I responded with that as gay or something stupidly childish, which is like, but still, it's better than calling the thing Volley Bear, which sounds like volleyball.
Yeah, you see it. You think volleyball, don't you? There's no way.
You do. Yeah, and he's called the Thunder's Roar, so it's like they could have called him. Oh, I don't know. Oh God, what could they have called him?
I still wanted like a play on words. I wanted Rawhide, except
spell
it R-A-W. You spell it R-O-A-R, because come on, that would be intelligent. It would be a bit funny, and it wouldn't make him sound like volleyball.
Why bear though in the name? It's like stupid. Why have bear in the name? It's like Volley Bear. All the other champions, like Shaco, isn't called Clown Man, is he? You know, and well, what other stupid champions would you have?
Well, there's Wukong the Monkey King, but the thing is, his name is Wukong.
Wukong, he's got a name. He's not just Monkey Man, is he? Monkey Man. It's almost like Dota 2 in its stupid name. Wizard.
Anti-mage.
Anti-mage. So come on, we need a name, son.
They didn't call Fizz Captain Kipper, did they? Although they should have done.
No, yeah, they should have done Captain Kipper. I mean, he could have called it something like It's just gone out of my head. Uh,
I think this is what happened to them. I started trying to name him. They're like, his bear uses thunder, and he's called the Thunder's Roar. So we need something that sounds hardcore and like a storm, some sort of stormy, lightningy, thundery name. And everyone sat there and went,
yeah, but surely, like, they could have just, like, if you stick Ron on the end of anything, right, you can call it, like, so you could have him as Voltaron, or something like that. I mean, it might not be a bear's name, but at least it's a champion's name. You see what I mean? It's not like Volley Bear. I am the Volley Bear. Oh no, the volleyball bear's turned up. Oh dear. Oh dear me.
What does the volley bit mean as well? Is that,
I guess it's something to do with Volt. I don't know. Maybe we have. Maybe we've just. But that's another thing. I don't really read the lore because it's absolutely shit. Let's just get down to it. It's totally crap. When you go on League of Legends website and you look at the lore for the characters, it's like it's been written by a child, and it's just so cheesy and crap. It's like, what is this?
I have to admit, I do read the lore, but quite often I read it because it's there more than any sort of desire to catch up.
Yeah, but it's not very good. I mean, I remember bits. I read bits on Damasio, and it was just totally garbage. Your standard, this is a big human city. It's the last bastion of hope. Blah-de-da-da. Da-da-de-blah-da.
I still like the lore for Jax. He was a no-one who turned up and beat everyone, and so they made him use a lamppost instead of his weapon. And then he beat everyone still, so they said, you can have your weapon back, and he said, no, I like fighting with a lamppost.
Is that his lore?
It.
Or you have to pull him a leg, son. You pull him a leg. Tell me you put... That's his lore.
That's his lore. He's just like, he was just some soldier that turned up and went, I want to fight in the League of Legends. They went, okay. And he went in and smashed everyone to pieces, so they gave him a lamppost, and that's his story. And it's like, excuse me, I wrote better stuff than this when I was 10. What is going on? What are you doing?
Oh my god, that is horrendous. We're going to move on anyway. I mean, I've seen Volleybear play once in my team. Although I guess that count will go up astronomically, as it often does with new champions. And then they end up like Xerath, where nobody plays them. And you see him once in a blue moon. He does look kind of good. Like, he's like a tanky fighter, and, I suppose his model looks quite good as well. But they often do with the new champions anyway. Like, you can see they've got more detail to them. Anyway, moving on, son. The Counter-Strike Global Offensive beta is out now. Let's just blast through the rest of the news and we'll come back to that, because as far as I'm concerned, the major news is the Counter-Strike Go beta. I can talk a little bit about Batman. What else have we got?
Star Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars, the Old Republic beta. So, okay, let's just blast through the rest of this. So we've got the Skyrim creation kit is apparently coming soon. And they're looking to make it available around the beginning of January 2012. For anybody who doesn't know, the creation kit is basically the mod tools, so you can just, make your own quest, edit the world and all that stuff. It's generally when you see you'll see loads of mods coming out for Skyrim, different quest lines and all that stuff. Should be quite good. We've got the Syndicate, the Syndicate weapons gameplay trailer, which shows off guns, because apparently they've got loads of guns in the game.
Which is, I mean, I'm looking forward to Syndicate, but I don't see why they're pushing the whole gun angle. They should be pushing them hacking people's minds and making them kill themselves angle.
The gun angle makes you think about Borderlands as well. Anybody who's been involved in PC gaming, like you'll remember Borderlands, all millions of guns and all this crap. As soon as it said, look at all the guns, I think Borderlands, so it's not really... I mean, maybe I'm just crazy and I'm the only one who thinks like that, but it seems a bit dumb. It's not a bad trailer, though. It shows the weapons off. So yeah, check it out on unitlost.com. And then we've got a bloody Dizzy Egg new video off CreaMazing. He seems to be addicted to CreaMazing and these rancidly poor egg jokes, which is just terrible. Explosive. That was my elbow cracking. Good lord.
Spectacular.
It's. Oh, ho, 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 ho. So we carry on, and apparently, now this is new since we started doing the gaming news, such as the quality of Unit Lost. Valve are hinting at Half-Life 3, apparently. And there's some guy with a t-shirt on with a 3 in the middle of the Half-Life logo. So what's being said here, actually, bloke? Because this is breaking news.
This is breaking. The art director of Super Monday Night Combat posted an interesting tweet, which was... this picture of a Half-Life 3 T-shirt, and he said, "All I'm saying is I saw this at a local game developer event worn by a Valve employee." So it's tenuous, but
it's just a piss take. I mean, it's so easy to get anything printed on a T-shirt these days. You know, I could have a T-shirt like that made and walk around with it on. Maybe we should, because we'll get loads of views. What we should do is just stop. Oh, look, I found this. We were at a gaming event in the back room somewhere. There was a Valve employee. She had a Portal 3 T-shirt on. Go away. Whatever, I'm not buying that. Anyway.
I have to admit, I do like William's comment on this, which is that Valve's original master plan, back when corsets were a la mode in France.
Oh,
loving his work.
Terrible. So, let's move on to the main point. So, first of all, let's just go straight into... Well, I'll just talk a little bit about Batman Arkham City. I'll try not to spend loads of time on it. I like the Batman game, so I'm a bit biased. But it's like an adult superhero game. That might sound a bit dumb, but the way it is like Batman, in my eyes, he's the best superhero because he ain't got no stupid power. He just kicks people's heads in, and it's like over the top. Yeah, he might have crazy gadgets and all the money in the world and whatever the hell he's got. Like, he's the billionaire. But it's just like the combat, the free flow combat is ever so good. Like, you can just get addicted to it. It's so simple to use. Yet, you know, at one point I had an 89 hit combo on. There were like 50 of Joker's boys. There was Joker trying to beat me up, but obviously Joker's weak as anything. And I got his head, and kneed him in the face, and it just cleaned him out. He went, he was all on the floor, mullet. And it was just crazy. Like, the combat is really, really good, and I think it's one of the games which actually works better with the controller. You know, obviously I'm playing it with the keyboard and the mouse, but if I had an Xbox controller, I probably would have played it with the controller because it would have made more sense, because it's that type of arcadey combat thing which would fit well on a console, I think, which is, I guess, kind of good praise coming from us being PC gaming. But yeah, the story's well written. It's just totally over the top. Loads of things to do, which I guess could kind of be its downside because there's that much to do. Once you've done the campaign, because the way the game works is it switches you between Batman and Catwoman. Obviously, you play most of the game as Batman, like 80% of the game as Batman, and Catwoman just makes like little, almost cameo appearances. Like, but once you've polished off the Batman campaign, it then puts you back as Catwoman, like, and you can continue her little mission. Although I've not finished that just yet, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's actually playing the game. But my game progress is like listed as like something like 60% complete because there's that many different side quests. But I guess you can't even really call them quests because there's like loads of Riddler riddles all over the place. There's loads of like achievements you can get for killing people in certain ways, doing certain things to them, and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just like you could spend hours on the game, but there comes a point when you've completed the game and then you've just got all this extra crap, which is just of no use really. It's like maybe some people like to do it if they're massive completionists, and maybe I'm not the best person to be commentating on it because the amount of games I'm playing on a weekly basis is getting pretty astronomical. So just to stay, like, I think to myself, okay, I've completed Batman. I'll go back and do the Catwoman bit, but all the extra stuff, I don't know, it just seems a bit over the top. But then again, if you're only buying a game a month or whatever your budget allows, then yeah, that's quite good because you're going to get a lot of time out of it, I suppose. But yeah, Batman, I mean, I highly recommend it. It's ever such a good game. It's just crazy. It's like I want to go in and talk about the story because it's just totally over the top. But on the other hand, I don't want to. Like this, well, I'll talk about it a little bit. You get random phone calls, like on the payphones around Arkham City, because Arkham City is like a maximum security super prison in the middle of Gotham City, and it's obviously got old architecture and it's massively run down because all the super criminals live in there and all that kind of stuff. But you get these random phone calls on the payphones, and it's from this mass murderer, right? And he says things to you like, "Batman, Batman, I want you to get to the next phone, Batman. Let's see if you can find it. Follow the ring. Because if you don't, Batman, I'm going to cut this woman, Batman. And then I'm going to cut her kids." And puts the phone down. It's like, what the hell? You get all this random stuff all the time. But I think the best character in the game is Joker by a mile. Like the voice of Joker and the things he says are dead funny. It's just totally over the top and stupid. But there you go. That's my Arkham City kind of quick roundup. I think what I want to do is put some more clips on the channel, maybe over the weekend, just showing some of the combat, because it gets absolutely ridiculous, especially when there's like 50 people you're fighting. And your combos going off the chart, like 100 hits or whatever the hell you can pull. Crazy times. Anyway, son, let's move on. Let's go into Counter-Strike Go, and then we'll finish off with Old Republic. So, go on.
I was going to say, you're in a better position to talk about Go than me, because I've had some right problems with the beta. I've found that just joining a server has been a massive trial, and I have tried on quite a few occasions to have a blast on it, but it seems to be that the quick match thing, in my case, joins you a server and then basically shuts the game down as well. Pretty much at the same time it'll load, and then the game will close, and there's still issues with joining people in your friends list. Like as we experienced, trying to join a game through Steam Friends just gives you a nice black screen that stays there for ages. So, to me personally, I can't really say I'm massively impressed. I know it's a beta, but it's just not worked for me. So, not a good.
Yeah, I mean, it is beta, so things like menu options and matchmaking, you'd expect that to get fixed. One worrying thing is there doesn't seem to be a server list. Now, there is a custom games tab, but that was greyed out. You couldn't actually access it at the moment in the beta. My major worry is that it's just a tab for mods. So, you click it and it'd ask you what game do you want to play. For example, do you want to play gun game or, like a zombie mod or something? And you click OK and it finds you a server. The automatic matchmaking is not the best because, for an FPS game, you need to be on a server with a good ping. You don't want to be on a server with a ping of 200 or whatever the hell it's giving you. Or a ping of 100. You want like a ping of 20, 30, 40. That type of ping, that's what you're looking for. Counter-Strike's a game based on accuracy, not inaccuracy, so you can't have a poor server. Now, because Kirioth had some problems, I went ahead and made the gameplay clip, which is on the channel. However, I've got no control over the server. I join, and actually in the clip, because it's all recorded live, I'm saying to myself, why is this? Why does it feel like it's in treacle? Why is it lagging? Why is it jittery? Well, of course, it's not the graphics that are jittery. It's the fact I'm connected to a server with, a terrible ping, but I had no way of viewing the ping. I guess there probably is in the console. There'll be a command you can stick in the developer's console to have a look at it. But yeah, I mean, pressing tab just brings up a score screen and just tells you a score. It doesn't really tell you what your ping is like you'd expect it to. As far as the game goes itself, and I suppose this relates to the Old Republic as well, it's kind of just an old game, repackaged. There's nothing really new about it. There are some minor changes, like you get a couple more grenades, like you get your Molotov cocktail, your sound grenade, which simulates a gunshot, which is quite good, like. The score... Well, I say the team is listed on the top of the UI, so you can see who's alive or who's dead, so you don't have to keep checking the score screen, which is, a nice change. You can see your full inventory as well, which, again, is a nice little change. But as far as the graphics themselves go, they are better than Counter-Strike Source. But when I say better, you're literally talking like 15, 20% better. And at times, they can kind of look cartoony. Especially the guns. The guns, I don't really like the model of the guns at all. Especially is it the M4, the counter-terrorist rifle? That looks just laughable. It doesn't look very good at all. And it's like, I don't know. But like I said, the servers I joined were all laggy. Me and Kirioth are going to go and play it multiplayer. So we can give it, well, I say play multiplayer. We're just going to play it together and record it, and give more advanced thoughts on the game, because obviously I've played it a little bit, but it'll be Kirioth's first time, so it'll be good, bouncing back and forth. But I'm not really impressed. I mean, based off what I've seen in the beta, it's not made me think, right, okay, this is a new Counter-Strike game, which I guess is a problem people tend to have, because a lot of people seem to think this is Counter-Strike 3, and it's It's not. It's like Counter-Strike Source with slightly better graphics and is aimed at the console crowd as well as the PC crowd.
The problem I find with games that are aimed at the console crowd is that they're not really aimed at the PC crowd at the same time. It's like even the inventory. I mean, I've watched the video that you've done, obviously, and I did it there, obviously.
Obviously.
And the inventory wheel works well on a console, but you don't need it on a PC. You know, it's little things like that. I know it's only small, I know it's only inventory and the UI, but the UI is quite a big part of the game, and it has quite a big effect on how you interact with it. So putting in something that's optimized for
well, the problem is if you've got something, if you've got something for a console, it can't be optimized for a PC because the main downfall of a console is it doesn't have a keyboard. So things like the server selection, for example, on a console, you just want to click one button and be in the game. You know, quick match, go. What game do you want? That game, go, go, go. You don't want that on a PC because you want more control. You know, the whole reason you are a PC gamer is because, you know, you're interested in fiddling with things, I suppose, you know, getting the best graphics out of things, you know, having the best gaming environment, I'll say, but I guess that's subjective again, because if you're some kind of console hero, you know, you're going to say the console's the best all day long, you know, for a number of reasons, i.e. the cost and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still, you know, PC gaming is still the premier environment. You would expect to be able to view a server list, you know, and to make a change here, a change there, you know, certain things. I mean, I don't understand why it has to be uniform either. Why a console version has to be the same as the PC version. Now, I don't know whether this is the case, but like you say, things like with the wheel, the selection wheel, clearly designed for a console, so you can do it with a stick. Now, obviously, you could circumvent that with pressing B for buy and then just doing the number builds, which you could do in every other Counter-Strike game, I guess. But you know, I think it's still the game as a whole. After playing it for, I think I've played it for about 50 minutes. I didn't think to myself, well, it's nothing new, right? It's not going to blow your mind. It's just Counter-Strike with different appearance, essentially. It's not, I don't know, you get more grenades, so there's more gameplay options, I suppose. But apart from that, I don't really see what the difference is. And there's some changes to the maps as well. On Dust I was playing on. I think it was Dust 2, actually. Or Dust. You know what? I can't even remember the difference between Dust 1 or 2. I think it was 2. Where the underpass is. There's actually stairs leading out of the underpass now. Whereas before, you know, if you were in the underpass, that was it. You were in the underpass. You either run back to your terrorist spawn, you know, if you was attacking it as terrorists, or you try and press forward, like. So I don't know. I mean, me and Kirioff played Counter-Strike Source a hell of a lot, and you know, after playing something for so long, I guess you kind of get bored with it. You kind of get all too familiar with it. Like, this is going to lead us into Star Wars: The Old Republic now, which is quite a good link, quite an intelligent one off me as well, where it's the same game you've been playing, or you played some, you know, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and that's very similar. Yeah, and that's very similar for the Old Republic and World of Warcraft. Because going into the Old Republic, we've obviously done a load of content of that. I mean, I've got a very big playthrough which I'm working through. You know, putting episodes up on the channel. You know, which is good fun to watch because, you know, we're having a blast and we're showing you what's going on with the Sith Star area. But essentially, I mean, I'll put this question to you, Mr. Kirioff. What is actually different in that game when you compare it to World of Warcraft?
Yeah, that's the difficult thing. In terms of actual gameplay, there's nothing really. There are little tweaks that we've both picked up on, but in terms of just experience, it's the same. It's a puzzler because I think one of the things that actually straight away made me think this doesn't feel like anything different that it's what I've done before, was in the first video where we were standing around and I got my stupid glow baton out, and you said, "How do you do that?" And I just said, "Press Z." It's the same as World of Warcraft. I mean, that's okay. Fair enough. I know most MMOs they're similar or the same. They've all got the same mechanics and so on. But I went into this brand new game in the beta, and immediately I knew exactly what to press to do everything because everything was exactly the same as something I'd already played. And that's how the game felt. It's like, in some ways, it was quite nice because it's been ages since I've played an MMO. So it's like, oh, I used to enjoy this. This was quite good fun when I used to play this. But then you think, but hang on, I can't say that because I've not actually technically played this before.
But you have.
I feel like I have, yeah.
Yeah. It's a. On one hand, they're designing a game which is aimed at that type of crowd who are playing World of Warcraft. You know, you are familiar with the MMO game. You come into our game, you can play it straight away. That works to a point. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people. I mean, I expect to see Old Republic do probably about 2 or 3 million, maybe more subscribers when it launches. They'll drop off because I think ultimately what's going to happen is the people who are playing World of Warcraft, who are, hating on World of Warcraft, oh, I don't want to play this, blah, 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 will go to the Old Republic, and it'll be that same old syndrome of where they'll end up coming back to Warcraft because the community is there for Warcraft. They've invested literally years into the game, come at this time now. Most players have, had an active account for a couple of years. Why would you give that all away to go and play the same game in the Star Wars universe? Now, really, for me, the only thing which is... there's only a couple of people, I think, who will actually stay of the group moving from Warcraft. So you would say people who are addicted to Star Wars, they'll just play anything Star Wars related, they're staying. People who want to play a new game through to completion, so they might play the game to the highest level, do some of the early tier raiding, then get bored, and then then go back to World of Warcraft. Or you get the people who just want a new, they just want a change of scenery, and then they're really so bored of World of Warcraft that they're prepared to just let that all go. But I think they're vastly outweighed by the amount of people who will get it, try it, and then go back to Warcraft. Now, I know I'm focusing only on one group of people here because there'll be people who've played the other Star Wars MMO, the Sony one. What was that? Galaxies, Star Wars Galaxies. So the people who played Star Wars Galaxies will be like, okay, this is the new Star Wars MMO because Galaxies is shut down. They'll probably be disappointed because it's not going to be what they expect because that was more based on the EverQuest model. Although it did have a lot of changes and the game did get a massive load of changes, which were kind of bad. But the main concern I've got for the Old Republic is it's an MMO, but it's designed like a single player RPG, which, it's got a good storyline to it. But there just happens to be other people in the world with you. It's like you could easily go through the game, I would imagine, based off, the 10 levels we've leveled up through. Go all the way to level, I think it's level 50, that's the cap. And never group with anybody, but have had a really good gaming experience. I'm guessing there's quite a few hours of content there as well. Everything's fully voiced over. From what I could tell, they all had different voices. There's loads of different chat responses, but essentially when it comes down to the combat, it's just World of Warcraft combat, MMO style that of that era, in this era. And it's kind of frightening when you look at things like Guild Wars, which are coming out, which, is trying a lot of new things. And yet, you look at Old Republic and the amount of money spent on it, and it is just essentially it's a World of Warcraft clone. It's going to be the best World of Warcraft clone by a long shot, because it was polished. I mean, you can't deny that beta wasn't polished. There wasn't really... I mean, what problems were there? I can't really...
I think something that people need to what I'll point out now is we're not actually knocking the game as such, because the game was actually very good.
The game is actually... Yeah.
And apart from... I'm still not a fan of the way it looks, but the mechanics worked absolutely fine. The little additions like the map, even just things like the map, where you could have the full map up, but it faded out as you ran. I really liked that, because that's...
Yeah, and like the area loot as well. That was another thing.
And the option to go into other people's class instances if they invite you, so you can be involved in their quests. There's loads of things that actually hit a really, really well polished and very, very enjoyable game to play.
I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're an MMO fan and you buy the game. I don't think you'll be disappointed. You will. It won't be one of those things like you'll load it up and think, oh no, this is really bad, I want my money back, sort of thing. You'll play it. You might play it for 2 or 3 months. You might end up playing it for years. I guess that just depends on the person, but it is not a bad game. It's just the same game we've seen, for 7 years now with World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
Which is kind of what grates on me. I want to see evolution. You know, I don't want to see the same thing just spewed out time and time again because it makes money.
I'd say that with Star Wars, it's a game that you'll enjoy and it'll be worth it, but you won't be surprised by it. You know, it doesn't. I don't think there'll be a point at which you have that sort of, you know,
wow factor. You won't have. There's no wow factor. Yeah.
When you first pick up a game you've never played before and you sit there and you think, "Oh, this is amazing." You know, you won't. I don't think you'll ever get that feeling from that game because you won't find anything new enough for it to feel like a fresh experience. But you know, as I said, it is a very good game. It's just not new. And I think that's the only downside I can see to it. I think I'd probably play it. But
I think I would play it as well. But the thing is, I was having a discussion with people in TeamSpeak the other night. Also, as well, Feld, if you're listening to this, I seen your YouTube comment, and we did have a massive 1 hour, 48-minute game on League of Legends where we won big because we're absolute winners. So there you go, have a shout out. And my pentakill was not a kill steal, it was absolutely pure Nasus going in, killing everyone big style. But anyway, going back to the Old Republic, it's... If you came up to me and said, here's a copy of the Old Republic, come and play it with me, I'd play it with you. My case is kind of a special case, and so is Kyrios. Whereas you can't really you can't really give that much time to a single game anymore because of all the other games we have to play. I mean, it would be a game where I would want to play it quite a lot, and it would, you know, make all the other stuff, you know, we do for Unit Lost quite hard to do because, you know, you'd be focusing so much on the Old Republic in a sense. So if you asked me now and said, Stylosa, are you going to play Old Republic? I'll say, no, I'm not going to play Old Republic. So you might think, okay, that's negative review sort of thing, like he's not going to play it. The only reason I say I'm not going to play it is because I don't think I've got the time.
I think, yeah.
But I would play it. This is the thing, but I would play it. But I wouldn't feel like I'd play it. It'd be a good gaming experience, and that'd be great. Okay, the downsides are the graphics are quite bad for this. You know, it's almost 2012, and we're looking at graphics which are on par with World of Warcraft. You know, they're not really anything special. I mean, you could argue Warcraft's better. And in fact, I probably would, because I'd say some of the environments are designed a hell of a lot better in World of Warcraft, and you get a sense of scale. You don't really get that in the Old Republic. I felt quite enclosed at times, even though some of the buildings were quite big, especially with the Sith Academy. You could look into the distance and you could tell that mountain was just a picture. It wasn't actually a mountain. You know, it looked very cheap.
It hasn't got there's no scale to it. Everything feels the same size, no matter where you are.
There might be later on. You don't know, and it's like one of them things with an MMO. This is why it's so difficult to just say, yeah, that's a good game, yeah, that's a bad game, because it's like you can't really do that until you've played the game through. How many hours would that take? You know, so we can only really give our opinions based on what we've played. And I think wrapping it up, if you're a Star Wars fan, go for it. If you really like the way World of Warcraft operates and you're bored with World of Warcraft, go for the Old Republic. If you're just looking for a new game to play with your mates or your friends, then go for it, because you'll get a lot of content out of it. I think it's kind of strange. Yeah, it's a strange one.
I'd say that actually, if you're someone who likes an MMO but finds that they maybe play at times where say you've got a particular working pattern where you have to leave for work an hour after your mates get back from wherever they're working. You want an MMO that you can play with your mates, but also has a very enjoyable single player component as well. I'd say that'd be the MMO for you, definitely, because there's so much content in it that feels like a single player game. You know, there's every conversation you have, there's options. Some of them,
I mean, it's like as if they've made. I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, like if again, it just goes back to it's an MMO, but it feels like a single player RPG. But if you want to play it with other people, then you've got the option to do so. That literally sums up the game from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it works quite well either way, because of the way they've managed to combine groups and the way you can go into each other's conversations and you can have the same quests going at the same time, but actually be involved in every step of it with each other. it's it's almost like they've taken a single player game and thought, how can we make this multiplayer whilst retaining all of the story, rather than starting out multiplayer and thought, oh well, we need to make this seem as though it's got a decent story. They've started out story and single player base first, and then moved it up so that almost like instead of it being a multiplayer game, you've got multiple people playing the same single player game.
Yeah. Which isn't really an MMO. So that's the dilemma. It's like you don't really... What is it? I don't know. I mean, it is an MMO because you've got your guilds and you've got your groups and all that stuff like an MMO has. But you have a lot of exclusive content only you see. Now, granted, a lot of other people see this content if they're the same class, you know, doing the same quests. But it feels very personal. You'll go into a room and there might be, I don't know, 50 people in there around the quest NPC. But as soon as you click on the quest NPC... it's just you and him having a conversation. That it's like that type of thing. Whereas in Warcraft, you know, if you were doing a daily quest, there'd be loads of people doing the quest, and you'd actively see them, you know, talking to the NPCs and whatever. Whereas in Star Wars, it's like the NPC talking bit is very personal. It's not a group experience unless you want it to be. But then that kind of takes out the spontaneous nature of it, I suppose, of just people running. I don't know. It's a strange one. It's going to be interesting to watch it anyway and see how the other betas go on, because I think they're going to run a couple more stress test betas. Maybe I think actually they might be running one more, but it is getting quite close to launch. Launch is around the end of December, so it's going to be an interesting one, like I say, to follow, and I'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure Kirioth will.
I'm still thinking to myself that maybe if I had the time I'd play it, but I am going to keep an eye on it because it's almost going to be like some sort of weird social experiment. You know, how many people will actually enable that little option that allows your group to go into your instance and see your quest?
The figures are going to be interesting to see. Who actually plays it? What's the damage to World of Warcraft? You know, what's the player base it's going to sit at? I think it'll do a couple million and then probably start reducing down a bit. But I think it'll be what it's not going to go away. It's just going to be an MMO to add to another list of add to the long list of MMOs, I suppose. But probably, in terms of polish, it's up there with World of Warcraft. There's no doubt about that. You know, it's not broken. The combat works like Kirioth said, and you know, it's a good same game. And I think on that note, we'll bring gaming news to a close, son, because I think we've got a date with Counter-Strike Go and League of Legends and some other stuff. Such is the way. And also, the YouTube channel layout has changed now. If you see any problems, let us know. Congratulations to Lacien and Trollbab666. Apologies if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, but they were the winners of the Skydrift competition. As we said, we're going to try and run competitions with all the Is It Pures from now on, because it just adds another layer of worth to the video. And the Magica one is still running, and we'll probably pick a winner maybe tomorrow or Sunday, or maybe even Monday. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, or your ears, good lord. So yeah, we've been Stylosa and Kira from UnitLost.com, and we'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.